Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on the MJ sector. So it was a day to celebrate for the bulls. If you didn't watch the video from yesterday, I highly suggest watching it because I laid out a scenario where the bulls could save things. We saw a little bit of a shift taking place last week. That shift faded to start this week, roaring back for the bulls today. And I laid out scenarios of what it would require, in my opinion, to see this momentum shift take place. Some of it had to do with the S&P 500. We saw a short squeeze in the S&P 500 today on some news of some progress with trade talks in China. Keep in mind there is overnight headline risk now with the situation in Hong Kong and China, and I'm going to talk about that in my market video, but there is potential where what the market priced in today for progress towards the trade war conclusion, or at least progress, that could be wiped out overnight on this event, if the event were to take place. So we got what we needed for the S&P 500, relief from anxiety that we were going to drop to lower lows on the daily time frame. We're right now closer to all-time highs than we are to the low of the dump on the S&P 500, which is making the bulls more confident. Today was a laggard play for the sector, whereas SPY saw the short squeeze this morning, and then the US MJ sector and Canadian MJ just slowly started to go up, and then they started to pick up speed doing so. So it was definitely a laggard play to the market action. We've had continued bullish reactions to earnings, VFF earnings, labs earnings, but with all of these earnings reactions, higher open, selling once regular trading starts. VFF ended up down $1 from the high of the day, and labs, which we will look at, had an all-out dump from the green open that we saw. So again, the pattern is green open into profit taking. The sector sentiment is slowly shifting, and we'll see if that can carry through. A lot of eyes on CGC earnings tomorrow. CGC broke our short-term resistance of 33.33 today. After hours, we were down a little bit. TLRY earnings just came out, and it was an initial bearish reaction on TLRY. So we saw CGC and Cron pull back a little bit in response to that. Bottom line is earnings are going to determine the short-term direction on CGC. With a bullish reaction, 36.31 and 36.74 are key resistances. With a bearish reaction, we're looking down at the low of 30.75. With what we're seeing on TLRY right now, it's showing me that market or sector sentiment has shifted a bit because the market's being very forgiving for TLRY, who just had a big miss. So TLRY ran with big volume, up 8% today. And here's the after hours volatility. All out dump, bulls buying the dip. Again, we closed yesterday at 42.46. And here we are currently $2.50 above that level after reporting a big miss. For me, that's the sector being forgiving. We have the conference call coming up. We'll see how we react to that. But short term, we did make a solid recovery, and we'll see how the reaction goes overall. But again, the fact that we're not under the low of today shows me that you can see a big miss, and it's not going to be a huge deal, which is what we're seeing on TLRY. So Cron got some nice follow through off of its support hold of 12.70. We held that support by 9 pennies, and now we're watching for the equilibrium. We are going to anticipate a daily lower high compared to 15.58 because there's still a whole bunch of space where that lower high could form. When we lose the hourly uptrend, that's the indication that our lower high has been set. Short-term support is 13.73. And just patiently watching. The reaction to CGC is going to have an impact on Cron. Pretty much going to dictate whether the top of the bounce has been set, if it's a bearish reaction, or we'll be looking up to the mid to upper $14 range if it's a bullish reaction. So at least we have some nice space to work with now in the tightening range to be watching. APHA, nice follow through from the daily higher low. What was the indication our daily higher low formed? It was the hourly trend change at the end of yesterday, and bulls did not look back today. They carried that short-term momentum in their favor, and now we have a tightening daily range here as well. High of the earnings reaction, low of the pullback. Anything under 760 is a lower high. That's still 10% away. So the odds of a lower high are more likely than not. Watching the hourly uptrend, we did not consolidate on the hourly today. We're certainly going to anticipate hourly consolidation in the sector tomorrow because many individual names did not consolidate on the hourly, and it won't be a red flag unless it's high bear volume and a significant pullback. We're just looking for a healthy hourly high or low. When we lose the hourly uptrend, our lower high on the daily will be set, and we could easily see this range tighten up into next week for APHA. ACB, not as much follow through, but got the same hourly trend change yesterday into a little bit of follow through today. We're looking for a lower high compared to 720. Hourly high or low was established today at 656. That's the most important support short term. And worst case for the bulls would be fail to break 720 and break 628, because that would continue the pattern of an inability to change the daily trend. Again, has anybody changed the daily trend that we're looking at here? You could say TLRY has, but CGC has not, in my opinion, and APHA has not, and ACB has not. So still work to do. Can't get too excited about some green days. It's definitely an exciting day today, but bigger picture, more is needed. OGI. Haven't been covering OGI because there's nothing to say. We're very weak. We dropped to a lower low today. The bulls bought the dip, but compared to what the sector did today, to not break the high of yesterday when the entire sector is, I'm looking right now, 13%, 11%, 5.5%, 18%, 7.5%, 4%, 5%, 8%. So just the fact that we couldn't break the high of yesterday, that's a red flag. Could momentum be shifting? Could it be a laggard play? Absolutely. But I'm not going to focus on laggards. I'm going to focus on the strong names, and anything under 575 is a lower high on the daily time frame for OGI, and we have daily exponential resistance to be watching. Hexo, beautiful follow through, picking up speed a little bit. It's been a very slow and steady climb from here. Now we're getting the follow through. Next resistance level is 515 after 5 psychological, and the bull cross of the exponential moving averages is potentially looking to follow through. Weekly time frame, we are just looking for a lower high because anything under 680 is just a lower high, but the higher we go, the more space the bulls create for the potential of the weekly trend change headed into the fall. That's what every individual MJ name wants to see, is a weekly trend change to give us monthly higher lows. This is a monthly higher low on Hexo, and a weekly trend change would make us convinced that monthly higher low has been established. Then we can, of course, say, is this a monthly head and shoulders pattern? And the answer is maybe. If we see a monthly bounce, can't break the all-time high and roll over in 2020, it's a possibility. But we'll take it one step at a time, and the weekly trend change is what is on the mind of the bulls in the next couple of weeks, really the next month. CTST, I don't care about CTST, but 218, 203 supports, big bull spike, did not last long at all, bears in complete control still. Labs, so unable to break 728 resistance, tons of profit taking, tons of volatility. Hourly equilibrium into tomorrow. High of 720, low of 611, lower high of 675. Bulls must hold 611 tomorrow. If we break 611, the daily consolidation is going to be significant. And the bulls have to hold 611 and break 675 to change the hourly trend for our daily higher low to try and be established. Daily exponential support still holding. Again, we ran real hard into those earnings, so a sell the news reaction. And we're watching to see where the higher low can form on the daily. VFF, gap up open. Again, we ran way too hard. Everybody, most people, were looking to sell the gap up open. Closing near the low of the day. Hourly time frame did confirm a little hourly bear flag at the end of the day. So new resistance is 1401, and we're going to look for a daily higher low to form. Anything above 1141 is a daily higher low. Bulls have a ton of space to work with. When we lose the daily uptrend, sometime in the future, we then have to see the weekly trend change. But daily uptrend not going anywhere anytime soon. T-God, earnings are approaching, I believe, tomorrow. If a bearish reaction, we're looking at 327. If a bullish reaction, we are looking up at 377. Nice slow and steady move. Again, space being created for the potential of a weekly trend change heading into September. We're not looking at weekly tops being set until we lose the daily uptrend. But when we do, bulls do have a chance for weekly higher lows. CTST. So I talked about how market makers skipped my order yesterday, but they gave me another chance today, and I bought in on the gap down open. Got filled at about not 850, but 650 on CURLF. I took some profit after about 4.5% to the upside real quick, sitting on the rest and sitting on the position I had before. So remember this key support of 897. And why did I not sell when that level broke? Because we were in hourly oversold conditions. I certainly didn't expect this kind of bull move to respond, but I'm not going to stop myself out in hourly oversold conditions on a chart that looks like this. That being said, I don't want to enforce bad behavior in newer traders. This is me with 9 years experience and very comfortable managing my trades. If you ignore your stop losses and you're in your first year of trading, it's going to get ugly really quickly. So the lesson and the takeaway is not don't use stop losses or disregard your stop losses. The lesson is recognize the bigger picture scenario and get your experience and education up, and then you don't have to stick to concrete rules. As a technical analyst, I have some wiggle room because of my confidence and experience where I can do things that fit my style, which are different than what is ideal for other traders. So I highlighted the potential for the weekly higher low to still have a chance on CTST, and that is still the case. And we have our low, high of the bounce at 1103, and our higher low is now looking like 851. If that's our higher low, 851 to 1103 is the range. That is a $2.50 range pretty much. And the midway point of that range is 976. Look at the high of today, 976. So we got to the midway point and we are smack dab in the middle of this tightening range. We certainly need a lot of follow through. The hourly time frame hasn't changed the trend. We need an hourly higher low and higher high. The daily trend will have to change. I expect a lower high compared to 1080. If the CTST bulls can pull off something that looks like this into next week, the weekly trend change possibility is absolutely alive. So I'm still in some position, but again, today's euphoria. So what do we do when there's euphoria? I personally look to take a little bit of positions off, lock in some profit, and take it from there. So congrats to anybody that bought the gap down open on CTST, knowing how extended we were. CWeb, slow and steady march, all about 30.10. Still have another 6% to go or so, but high, low. If we lose the hourly uptrend without breaking 30.10, equilibrium will be playing out into next week. And if we break 30.10, we look to all-time highs, and that would be a great sign for the sector as a whole. We do have earnings coming up. I forget when exactly. Very soon. That's pretty much going to determine whether we head to all-time highs or whether we pull back down towards 25.05 support. OH was a ripper at the end of the day. So uptrend, we did get red flags, absolutely, but the uptrend was not lost. The most important support was 675. We held a double bottom at 684 and 686 today. Continuation. Highest price in the last month or so. Next level is 8 psychological. 803, 829. Hourly chart absolutely extended. We need an hourly higher low. Look at that end of the day action. That's huge. Weekly time frame, I wouldn't call that a trend change. It was a little hiccup, little brief consolidation into continuation. I'm more concerned with the daily exponential moving averages crossing bullish for the first time in a very long time. And OH, my second largest position, certainly making me much more comfortable after today. Gives us so much more space to work with to try and manage longer term swing positions, hoping that the sector is changing its momentum heading into the fall. CL, part of the reason that OH was so strong was CL saw a significant follow through. Over exponential resistances for the first time in a long time. Next level is 12 and 1239. Keeping in mind that weekly lower highs are coming. Anything under 1514 is a weekly lower high on CL. But also keep in mind we are looking for monthly higher lows, which has been the case for months. Monthly equilibrium most likely set up on CL OH monthly chart, perhaps going to disappear as it gets absorbed by CL, hopefully, but it's an uptrend. So nice momentum shift. Again, the most notable bull day that we've seen on OH pretty much today, most notable in months. And for CL, forget about it. Most bullish day since mid-June. 2 months. IAN, standing out as weak. Into the end of the day, IAN was one of the weaker names on my screen as OH was one of the stronger names. So if IAM was going to be correlated with everybody else, we would have seen a move up and a close around $4 today. IAN closed green by 2%. Everybody else, I already ran through those numbers, much stronger. If we drop down and break this low of 363, big red flag short term. And if the bulls tomorrow can break 395, sigh of relief. And it just took a little bit of laggard action to try and catch up with the rest of the sector. But better believe that IAN will be on my chopping block if it does not participate with the sector. MedMen, bullish reaction to earnings. So that's a huge day for the bulls. Congrats. Key resistance is 294. If we cannot break 294, which is currently a double top, it's an inverse head and shoulders kind of pattern. If we do break it, we look to 3 psychological. Significant bounce from the all-time low. Anything under 362 is a weekly lower high. Let's see if we get a weekly inverse head and shoulders. Left shoulder. If we bounce and can't break 362, have to form a weekly high or low, change the weekly trend. That would be a notable long-term momentum shift if that's how it plays out. Again, for a lot of names, this is just one green day. But it's a very notable green day. TRUL. So we held support of 1177, and we have an equilibrium setup. And if you want to smooth it out, you can use the 2-day time frame. I don't like it. Never mind. So we've got the low, high of the move, higher low. Anything under 1431 is a lower high. Wouldn't be surprised to see this stay in a tightening range until earnings. And with a bullish reaction to earnings, we test resistance. With a bearish reaction, we test support. Earnings are this week as well. Double check the date. I forget if it's tomorrow or Thursday. So that's where we stand for the sector. One green day is great, but for longer term shifts, we need daily trend changes. We need weekly trend changes. We're getting some signs. The odds from today compared to yesterday, where I said, this is what's needed, all these little puzzle pieces, and it's not the likely scenario, but it's a possible scenario. If we have a needle, a percentage chance, and again, I'm just making these numbers up, but yesterday the percentage chance was 20%. Today it's 40%. So today made a very significant dent in the possibility of longer-term momentum shifts and hourly consolidation very due for a bunch of individual names. If we get an hourly higher low and higher high after massive bull moves like this and end the week with hourly higher lows and higher highs, I guess we got 3 more trading days, but heading to the end of the week, that would be very notable for me as well. So I hope you're well. Do good things. Stick to the trade game plan you got. Sell into strength, buy into weakness, unless you got a long-term game plan. And even then, partial positions, I can sell partial position, reload partial position, all different kinds of ways to play the market. Do good things. We'll see you tomorrow.